Hello Stampers, I'm Kelly Acheson at stampabove.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin in the United States. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I'm really excited to share with you a brand new stamp set. This is called Nature's Beauty. This is a special stamp set that Stampin' Up! Created where they are going to donate $3 from every set sold to mental health organizations. So if you enjoy making a difference in people's lives, this is the stamp set for you. We've got some gorgeous images in here with the fox, the rabbit, the deer. We've got some really neat trees. This can make a wreath. We've also got some little dotty elements and some grass, another single tree. This is a really nice stamp set to make some masculine cards, some nature cards, and I'm going to show you what I did with it. Now, make sure that you head back to my blog because this is part of a blog hop today. We are all featuring the Nature's Beauty stamp set. Plus, as part of the Stamping Society blog hop, there is an exclusive tutorial where we have 6 more projects using the stamp set, exclusive videos, dimensions, ingredients that we used, and also written instructions. This is a PDF file that I share with my customers. When you place an order with me in September, I will give you this file for free, or you can head to my blog. There is a PayPal button there where you can buy the tutorial for $7. But all of these projects are not going to be released to the public, so they are exclusive. And can I just say that I have seen them and they are gorgeous. The one that I contributed is a fun fold and it's absolutely beautiful. So let's flip the camera around and I'll show you exactly what I made with the Nature's Beauty. While the Nature's Beauty has some gorgeous images in it, I decided to pair it up with the birch background stamp. And this was the first time I used this background stamp. And can I just say, love it. This gives you a birch tree background that I thought was perfect with the woodland animals, right? And then I chose the Well Said stamp set. This is a set of 2. Let me grab the other one. You get 51 different greetings in this double stamp set. So this is all one set with just about everything you could possibly need for sentiments for your cards. And you can use them for scrapbooking too. Okay, let's get started. I'll show you what I made. I'm going to start my card off with a crumb cake card base. This is 4 1/4 by 11. I've already scored it at 5 1/2. So we're just going to burnish that edge good. And then I've got a piece of Whisper White that is 3 7/8 by 5. A piece of our Pretty Peacock that is 5 1/8 by 4. Another piece of crumb cake. I just got a 1/2 inch strip here, so we're going to cut this down, but it's a 1/2 inch. A scrap of Pretty Peacock. A piece of 4 by 5 1/4 inch Whisper White for the inside. And then I've got these 2 little 1/4 inch strips, and we're going to cut those down too. So I'll show you what I'm going to be doing with those. First thing we're going to do here is we're going to take our small layer of Whisper White and the birch background stamp. Now, if you've never used a background stamp, this is going to be a great tutorial for you because they're a little different than other stamps. First of all, it's great big. It's big enough to more than cover the front of your card, which is awesome, right? I have it mounted on our F-size block, and I'm going to ink it up with crumb cake ink. And I always prefer to leave my stamp laying on the table and bring my ink pad to it. The other thing you're going to need is a sheet, just a scratch sheet of paper. So I'm going to bring that Whisper White in here. I'm going to lay it down on my stamp, and now I've just got a piece of scratch paper. And this is going to keep your hands from getting messy with the inked up image that isn't covered by that Whisper White layer. Now you always want to use your background, your big background stamps like this versus trying to pick them up and stamp them. I have never had success with that, but I always have success when I use it this way. And look at that birch background. Is that not just delicious? I love this. All right, I'm going to show you one more thing about these big background stamps. I like to take a baby wipe and just dab them off. And of course it depends on what your image is and how detailed it is, but this is just a baby wipe. For those of you that, well, maybe they have these overseas too. I was going to say, for those of you that are in the United States, I use, oh, it's not even on here, but I use the Huggies One and Done. They do not leave lint all over my stamps. They are substantial baby wipe, and they don't stink to high heaven with heavy perfumes. So that's what I choose as my baby wipes that I keep in my stamp studio. Huggies One and Done. They're the best ones I've found. Okay, next, we are going to take this layer and add it to our crumb cake layer, to our pretty peacock layer. And give it a little bit of liquid glue here. Now you want to be sparing with your glue. If you're new to me, I do use the liquid glue. I love it. It gives me wiggle room so that I can move my layer around if I don't get it on straight. And it's less expensive. It goes a long way, so I'm going to leave that open right now. But you don't want to use too much because you don't want it to have like worm patterns because you use too much glue, right? So now I've got my crumb cake layer, and I'm going to add this right to the front of it. And isn't that already just very pretty? Okay, now we have a little bit of, well, let's do the inside right away. So this is my idea for the inside. I thought I'd bring that pretty peacock blue into the inside of my card. And I'm just going to add, whoops, a line of glue across here. Now you have to kind of make sure you can do it straight, or you can put your glue on this little tiny strip. But I've got a lot of experience with this, so I was pretty sure that I could get that glue on there straight. Sometimes I'm a little overconfident, but today it's gonna work. Oops, my scissors kind of failed me there. There we go. And then I decided to put this other one at the bottom. And that's the end of my decorating for the inside of this card. I always like to do a little something to the inside because I firmly believe that the party should not end when somebody opens your card. We've got all these tools and supplies. Let's jazz it up. There we go. And I'm like, where did my card go? Here it is. We're just going to put this on the inside, and this is just going to add a nice little flare with that blue color coming in there, don't you think? And then you've got plenty of room to write. You could stamp a sentiment in here if you wanted to, but I'm not going to right now. Now we've got a little bit of coloring to do. This is what I decided to do with my Nature's Beauty stamp set. I'm going to take this doe. This is a female deer. For those of you that may not be familiar with wildlife, this is a female deer, and I stamped her in Memento ink. And then I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Blend markers. Now, I've got several different colors here because I'm also going to show you how I colored in the fox image. Don't want to leave you hanging out there high and dry. For this particular deer, I decided to use the bronze Stampin' Blend, and I thought that was just a really good color for a deer. The deer right now in Wisconsin, and I do get to visit with them almost daily. I take a bike ride that takes me to a nature preserve, and I get off my bike and I walk around the outside of the nature preserve, and I see deer almost every single day. And they're just really, really red right now. Now, as the season changes, they will get a lot lighter and turn more of a, well, a lighter brown color. But right now, they're super red. The fawns have spots on them. I usually see a set of twins every day, if not 2 sets of twins. So it's pretty cool. If you follow me on Facebook, you can find my stamping page on Facebook at A Stamp Above - Your Creative Coach. Sometimes I share pictures of the deer on that page when I'm out for my walk. Okay. I really like the Stampin' Blends because you don't get scribble marks when you color with them. Now, I'm going to take the light crumb cake and just color in the insides of the ears. I'm blending that just a little bit so they're not sticking out there. And now I'm going to come in with my color lifter. I'm just going to lift off some of the color that I put on, and it's going to give my deer some highlights so that my deer isn't just brown. It's got to have a little color variation. The other thing that I brought in was the light basic black. Deer hoofs are black, so I'm going to give that little black marker there. And my ground is going to be light crumb cake. And you can just color right over top of your deer's feet. You don't need to try and go around them, so that's pretty cool. Now I brought in my handy dandy stitched nested labels dies, and I'm going to use, hang on a second, I'm going to use this one. So the one that fits it the best is number 6. So I like to number these so I can tell you what I'm using. So here we go. There's one missing from here, but we've got number 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is number 8. So I am using number 6 for my deer. I'm going to die cut this and I'll be right back. Here comes my deer. Pretty attractive so far, right? Now, I wanted a really thin border behind this deer, so I'm going to add it to my scrap of Pretty Peacock. And my deer layer is 2 inches wide, so my Pretty Peacock is about 2 1/8 wide. Just want to make sure you get this lined up on here straight. And then it was really, really easy for me to bring in my scissors and just cut off the top and the bottom. And there we go. Isn't that attractive? Comes our card. I'm going to take some dimensionals and add those to the back. This is a pretty big layer, so I'm going to put 3 on there, normally 2, but I want to make sure that it stands up good. And then I'm going to add it right over here to the side. Now, I wanted a little sentiment on the front, and I decided to go with the Far Apart But Close at Heart. And again, that's from the Well Said stamp set. And I'm going to ink that up in Pretty Peacock. Where did that go? Right here. Oh, that's pretty crooked. Let's try it again. That looks really good. So I always leave my strip long so that I've got that chance to do a second go at it. I'm going to trim that off and flag this end. And let's see, where do we want this at? I wanted it... Yeah, we're going to cut this really close because I wanted this to kind of come on to this layer. I thought that was just an interesting look. I'm going to bring in a dimensional and put that on the end out here. I'm going to add just a touch of glue right here, so that will stick to my deer layer, just like that. And I thought one of these designer elements would be perfect to add to this card because I think it needs just a tiny bit of bling. And do we want to go with, I think we'll go with, I think I'll go with the silver. Whoops. If I can get a hold of it. Yep, I think that looks perfect. Okay, so here's our first card using the Nature's Beauty stamp set. Isn't that pretty? It's just very calming. It's a calming card. All right, then I've got another card to share with you. And I'm going to show you how I stamped or colored the fox because I found that to be kind of interesting. I've stamped that again in Memento black ink, and I used the Cajun Craze light and dark and also the bronze because I just found that I needed a little bit more color in there. Now, I looked foxes up online because I wanted to make sure that I got the coloring right on the fox. Let me see if I can zoom my camera a little bit. There we go. This might help you. And I'm just going to go around and outline and shade some of the areas that Stampin' Up! Has given us here. Now, the chest on a fox is white. And I knew it had some white on it, and so is the tip of the tail. So like I said, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't make a goofy looking fox. Now this is the darker of the two. Looks pretty funny, right? Now I'm going to bring in the light Cajun Craze and we're going to start blending all of this. And just keep coloring over it till you don't see that definite line where you left off with the dark. Make sure you don't color the chest because that needs to be white. And then we're going to come up here and do his face. And again, just keep coloring until it's blended nicely. Now, that looks like a pretty good fox. I'm going to bring in a little bit of ivory in that ear, and I'm going to blend it a little bit. I don't want it sticking out like a sore thumb. And then I came in with the bronze because this is really like kind of a orangey red, and I needed it to be more of a deep fox color. So now I'm just going to come in and color over the whole thing with the bronze marker. And that's just going to tone down that orangey Cajun Craze just a touch. And now it's starting to look a little more fox-like. Then, if you'd like to, you can bring back in the color lifter, and you can just lift a little color in places where you want it to have a little bit more definition. And I think I'm going to come in here and do that with the chest because I don't want it to just abruptly end in the color. On the sides of his nose, his long snout, I'm just bringing in, lifting a little bit of color off of there. Oh my gosh, what do you think, you guys? Isn't that neat? Okay, hang tight. I'm going to bring in the card that I made and we're going to finish it up. So I took my fox, I die cut it with the number 3 of the stitch nested shapes labels, and then I also used the number 5 for a black layer, and then instead of using crumb cake on the birch stamp, I used the Memento black on a piece of Cajun craze. I've mounted this on black cardstock. I used the sentiment from Well Said saying, "My life is better because you're in it." Mounted these all on dimensionals just like I did the deer card. And then the inside needs a little help. So I have a piece of Whisper White here. I took another piece of Cajun Craze and I inked it up in black, the birch stamp, and I stamped it on here. And then I cut some 1/2-inch strips off of it. And my idea is the same that I did with the other card, only that was smaller little strips of cardstock. And this time I'm going to go with larger strips, and I'm going to put them all the way to the top. I always kind of like to turn it over and make sure that I've got it lined up there good. And again, this is just a little something on the inside of my card so that when it gets opened up, it's like, oh, look at that. And I have lots of room to write or stamp whatever sentiment I happen to need in there. Okay, whoops. Here we go. I'm going to zoom my camera back out. We're going to add this to the inside. Isn't that attractive? I like this. I like the black birch on the rust with the fox. What do you guys think? Which one is your favorite? I don't know. I love them both. I think they're both really regal looking. They're really nicely well drawn animals. Okay, don't forget now, if you have any questions, I'm always happy to answer your questions, but you need to click up here to head over to my blog so you can follow along on the blog hop where everybody is using the Nature's Beauty stamp set today. You're going to see a bunch of different ideas, and these demonstrators are with the Stamping Society design team, and they're from all over the world, which is pretty cool. If you would like to order any of these supplies, this stamp set, the Nature's Beauty, will be available starting September 4th. You can head right over to my blog or click up here. That'll take you there. Use this host code if your order is under $150. If it's over $150, don't use the code. You will get your own Stampin' Rewards, and I definitely want you to have those. The Well Said stamp set, 51 different stamps, is well worth the money. You're going to have greetings for just about anything you need. And then, of course, this birch set, delicious, love it. And if you happen to need a big block, this is the F size block. If you need a block, you don't necessarily have to use a block with this. You can simply lay your stamp down on the table, but I do recommend you do not put the sticker on it if you're not going to use it with a block because you don't want it sticking to your table, right? But yeah, super, super neat background stamp. Right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me for this video. And if you would like to buy the exclusive tutorial, again, it is $7. You're going to find it on my blog, or you can get it for free when you place an order with me. Have yourselves a wonderful Sunday. Bye-bye.